So I'm Joshua Boggs. I'm one of the designers and developers of Framed, and that's just at our studio Loveshack in Melbourne. And Framed is basically a video game that plays like a comic book. So you have a series of panels, and they play in sequential order. And the goal of the game is to rearrange the order of those events to change the outcome of the story. So this is the first level, the little intro level. We deliberately leave information out, so it's unclear whether he has done the crime or not. So as you see, each panel plays out in sequential order, and in the original state, the level plays out and he gets caught, and then it allows you to change that. So if we take this panel and swap it with the corridor, so the corridor is earlier, he'll now reach the corridor before the cop does and evade him. So one of the key things that makes framed work is that whatever happens in the previous panel will affect the outcome of the following panel. So in this situation here, he was running along the corridor and ran into the police officer. So if we swap these two panels around, he'll now run in through the door first, meaning that he'll come out of the door behind the cop in the next one. And likewise again in the next panel. So part of what makes Framed interesting is in each panel, a lot of the time the action is the same, but it's the context which that action is happening in which makes it different. So here we have this panel of him jumping, and in that context there, he had been shot. But in the following context, when it's placed before the window, it changes the meaning of his action. So he's no longer being shot, he's now jumping out the window. So likewise, here we had the bird that flew away from the gunshot, like you normally see in films. Here, if we move it in front of the gun, the bird persists through the level and makes him miss a shot. So after that, we start having levels that open up a lot more. So in this level here, you've got a top platform and a lower platform, and you're attempting to avoid the hazards on both. So here he stepped on a crack and he's fallen through, so we're going to swap this with the pipe so you can change platforms. And that's going to help him get through. Framed will have about 50 levels, and we're aiming for middle of 2014 release date, so somewhere around May and June. So as you can see, the levels start getting much more complicated. So in this one we have to avoid all the cops, but still make it to safety in the last panel. So I'm just going to play this and we'll just try and solve it on the fly. Maybe we'll go under. So I go under, dodge that guy, go up the ladder, but I'm going to need to get up there, so I'm going to swap that around. There we go. So some of the other mechanics that we have in Framed is not just swapping, but also the ability to rotate panels. So here we have a character, and a new character as well, a female character, and as you can see, like in this level here, you've got some boxes and a ladder on its side, and basically when it normally plays out, she'll just walk straight past the ladder. So what we want to do is, we got caught there, so let's come from behind on this guy, and we're going to want to avoid him because he got caught by him before. So we're going to rotate this around so that the crates now become a step up onto the ladder, and we're going to use the ladder to get up to the upper level. So that's our little sneak peek of Framed.